Hello, and thank you for using Server Please, a button on your phone to request your waiter to your table at any restaurant. So these two are waiters. There's a lot in this video. I hope I can cover everything quickly and not forget anything. So this application is heavily dependent on location in the foreground and the background in order to keep the network reflecting accurately which customers and which waiters are actually located at the restaurant at their selected tables. Okay, so let's say these waiters are at China Palace. This customer number one comes in and selects China Palace. So let's say this guy's selected tables 1 through 5. If they select 6th table, they're asked to subscribe. This other waiter, I need to slow down, selects these tables. If a customer wants to select a table that they both want to share, only one waiter per table for the free version. So, they selected a table where no one's at. So now this guy comes in China Palace and selects table number 1. Okay. So by default, the customer app lists the restaurant that they're most likely located at. If they're in a building with multiple restaurants per building, they can select the other restaurant. So now there's several notifications where the network checks the device location. So I'm going to do this demo with the screens on while using, but it also works if they select allow while using in the background. For the customer, most of the time the screen has to be on, so it's pretty much okay. They can select whatever they want. Let's say this customer comes in and selects table number 1. This is the C2W, C2C check. Are you still there? And this one will try for 20 seconds to allow this guy to get a location or not. He already has. So in a moment, this guy's going to get notified, table still occupied. So most restaurants won't allow the waiter to carry a phone because of the frequency and incidence of waiters checking their text messages, Facebook, Snapchat. This waiter is getting notification to check table number 10. So the waiters have to be able to leave their phone in their pocket. Now, if this guy had left his table, this customer, but not left the location, then the pop-up said the waiter can long press on that table to release. Release customer? Okay. So because of the rarity that a customer will leave a table without leaving the location, and there is no other way of doing it, that's the only time a waiter is required to take their phone out of their pocket to release a table. So now this guy can select it. So let's say this guy comes into the restaurant and selects table number 10. So now if this waiter over here, the way they leave the phone in their pocket is because when a customer sends a request and they have an iWatch, it gives a silent vibration, customer requesting service. Let's say they don't have an iWatch and they just have an earpiece. In that case, the unique audio goes to the earpiece instead of from the phone in their pocket.
Hello, the customer is requesting your service.
So as mentioned, there is the C2C, customer to customer, checking if they're in the location. There's the C2W, whenever a customer sends a request to the waiter. And now I'm going to simulate if the waiter was to leave. So I started that, and then I'm also going to simulate what if this customer leaves. So as of right now, both this customer is driving away without having logged off. I mean, a restaurant is a social environment. People are whining, dining, having good conversation. They're not paying attention to their phone. If they are, their other guest that they're there at the restaurant with is going to get upset. So typically the screen is off. So in a moment, both waiter and customer are going to get a pop-up that says, looks like you left. Would you like to log off? Yes, no. For the waiter, they have the device in their pocket. They're not going to see it. Whether they see it or not, if they don't choose anything, the table is still assigned to them. Now, if the waiter leaves location and they choose not to sign off table, the customer sends a request, it'll go to the waiter. But it'll also check the location of the waiter, even though they haven't selected yes or no. And if the location is outside of geofencing, then the table will be released. Customer will be notified that the waiter has left. The waiter will also get an alert, an audio alert, because for the times that a waiter is at a restaurant, and say they're in San Francisco, lots of tall buildings, GPS signal can drift. So most of the time, it only checks the device location at the time a customer sends a request, or if a waiter tries to select the same table. Then it does the W2W check. So here they got the pop-up. Looks like you left. Would you like to log off? No. So that even if they press no, or if they don't, these tables are still assigned to the waiter. Now, if at the time that the network has detected that they left location, it gives them that pop-up. Looks like you left. But if they haven't left, they can get the request. And then again, I'm simulating with the screen on, but this has to work for the waiter with the screen off to allow location always, which means with the screen off or in the background. So it'll continue to give this pop-up because it looks like you left. That way it's diagnostic to the waiter that, hey, my tables are probably being released because I work in a restaurant that's down in the basement, or I'm in San Francisco and the GPS location is bouncing off buildings and throwing me a mile away and then back. As long as it's back when the customer sends a request, he'll still get the notification and table's not released. If he sends a request at the time the location is away, then this waiter's tables will get released even though he is located in there. So now he's left location. Let's say this customer sends a request.
Hello, the customer is requesting your service.
He gets the request, and now in just a moment this guy is going to get a notification that says waiter's table is released. Yep. Sorry, waiter's device is offline. Revert back to hand gestures and eye contact. This guy in just a moment, sometimes it takes a minute or two, he's going to get a loud alert saying doot doot doot, table's released. What I should have done is demonstrated that when this guy has left, if this guy tries to select his table, it will allow it. So here the waiter got the audio alert and the notification. So that lets them know that those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 tables I have selected, every one of those customers got the notification, waiter's device is offline. So you've seen how customer to customer checks location, the C2C checking location notification, the C2W customer to waiter, and the W2W. So we found that if we didn't institute this geolocation fencing, that whenever a customer or waiter selects a table and leaves the table without logging off, those tables are permanently blocked from any other customer selecting the customer's table or any other waiter from selecting the waiter's table or the table as waiter. Because whenever a customer selects the restaurant here from the listing, it generates a randomly generated private non-identifiable new number, random number that is not duplicated, not the same ID name or number on the network. So that way it's not associated with a device ID, not required a username and password. So when they return back, even with the same device, and select that table, it says that table is occupied by a different random generated device number. This protects privacy, but it also prevents the same device from being asked to return to the restaurant to release the table, which wouldn't happen that frequently enough, not reliable enough, consistently enough to really work. So it's the same for the waiter. If they are expected to return back to the same location, it's still a different random generated device ID number and it can't release the table. So more and more of those tables are permanently blocked. So in this app we have only one customer can select a table at a time. This prevents a customer pranking to other customers' tables. Like, say this kid wants to select, he's in the restaurant, he wants to change his table to table number 10, it bumps this guy off. He can request the waiter goes over there, I didn't request you. Okay, then the waiter gets called to table 24, table 27, 57, 97. They're going to say, we can't use this app. So it prevents pranking, it prevents a customer from accidentally selecting the wrong table number, it prevents duplicate requests from large tables, a wedding table of 20. Hey Bob, at the end of the table, you got that app, right? Can you call the waiter? Rather than Bob, Mary, and Joe, all three selecting the same waiter to the same table. Only one waiter per table for the free version. So a waiter can select up to 5 tables. And so let's say he's fine with that. Customer walks in, can we use this app? The waiter downloads it, drops it in his pocket, and goes. Now, if there's 2 waiters for the 5 tables he's got, like, hey, both of us are going to wait in these tables together, he can't select. There can only be 1 waiter per table for the free version. The paid version, you can have up to 10. But even so, if a waiter logs in to a table and leaves the location without logging off, that's 1 less waiter that can select that table. If it happens again next month, now there's 2 left. Eventually, the table becomes unselectable by any waiters. So another thing to know is that again, waiters, most restaurants are going to have a hard time allowing their waiters to carry the phone. If they do carry the phone, it's only because waiters leave the phone in your pocket. You select your tables, drop the phone in your pocket. Now the other thing, the only other time a waiter would take the phone out is when they're seating customers. Show this QR code. This is Share App, Share with Customer. Hi, welcome to Outback Steakhouse. We use server, please. Scan the QR code. If at any time you want to reach us, press the button, call us. So that's the only time the waiter takes the phone out of their pocket. Now, very rarely does a customer leave a table without logging off. Actually, that'll happen a lot. A customer will leave a table without logging off. But because we use geolocation, when the next customer comes to select it, that table will be released and the new customer will be allowed to select it without the waiter doing anything. For the very rare times that a customer leaves a table without logging off and that doesn't leave the location, let's say he goes to the bar, or maybe he lives next door, in that case only, have you noticed when a customer selects the same table, the waiter is notified, go to table 10, customer trying to select. When the waiter gets there, they can long press on a table. Release customer. Do you want to release the customer? Yes. Now it says customer released. This guy's released. That's the only time, the very rare time, that a customer will have to take the phone out of their pocket to release the table. So also, we can't use QR codes as one might think because, number one, that is patented. The ability to use a QR code to identify a table number restaurant as a means of requesting service is patented already. The patent probably belongs to an app that already uses that on the App Store called GetWaiter. Another thing, the biggest thing about QR codes is it prevents instant setup. QR codes have to be individually manufactured for every table at any restaurant that wants them, and no 2 restaurant table QRs can be the same. So they have to be pre-ordered and shipping and custom made, because then most restaurants want their logo on it, whatever. Even if they don't want them custom made, the QR code itself has to be custom made for every table at each different restaurant. So that creates a lot of delay, requiring pre-order and shipping delay. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. I think this app will be a wonderful service for restaurants. I've been working on it for many years. I sincerely hope you see the functionality and how there is no other way of doing it and how it does work really well. We're not sharing identity. We're not sharing location. It's only used to keep an accurate network reflection of which waiters and which customers are still at that restaurant and still at that table. Thank you so very much. I hope you enjoy evaluating this app, and I hope you use it out at your dining experience, and I hope it improves your experience. Have a great day, and thank you so much.